Happy Valentine's Day 2024. Today I woke up and Kani had gone off to work, and I came down to have my breakfast, and there was this gorgeous Valentine's present at the bench. It was wrapped all very beautifully with a beautiful card, aroha, which is Māori for love, a gorgeous card, and look at these chocolates. Chocolates, chocolates, chocolates. Unbeknown to him that today I was going to go out and organise a lovely dinner for him, because it's just him and I at home now, and a little gift, and also just reminisce on some of the happy moments that we've had here. 4 years ago we surprised our kids, and we had a wedding vow renewal at our property, and we had Lachlan coming home, and he actually surprised us and got married to his wife. And the day that we had organised to do our surprise, he had organised to get married. So he wrote to us and said, please, please, please change your date. And I said, no, we can't. And he said, please, can you? So we changed our date, and so we had a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. That was 4 years ago. And we renewed our vows at our property, which was, we had a wonderful marriage celebrant, Tasha Bowen, and it was just such a wonderful, wonderful week, while full of celebrations. Okay, so I'm going through this book here, The Low Carb Kitchen, to look for some recipes, because Kani is type 2 diabetic now, so we always try to think about low carb meals. Because it's Valentine's, it's something special, so I thought about a salmon dish or some sort of fish dish. I found this one. The glazed salmon with broccoli mash. It's got some broccoli in it, coconut oil, obviously salmon because we both love salmon, and maple syrup and ginger and cayenne pepper, fish sauce, so all the standard kind of ingredients. And then I also thought about a dessert. Berry popsicles sound quite good. Berry popsicles. At the supermarket they didn't have everything I needed to do my salmon, so I'm going to, I bought instead, I've got some salmon but it's already done. Got a lovely bottle of wine, because red wine's good for you. I bought some ready-made salmon, and he likes hot stuff, so Cajun hot, because the salmon that I wanted to do, they didn't have all the fresh ginger and all the other little bits and pieces that I wanted to make with it, so I've had to rehash things. So I'll do a lovely salad, I'll do the salmon, I'll do some lovely vegetables, but I'm still going to make the homemade dessert. Okay, so place the berries in the blender with the mint and blend. So 2 cups of berries, 2 cups of blueberries, 'This honey is puhoi honey, it's mustard honey, and we bought it at the Takapuna market. It is really good. episode, I want to talk to you a little bit about Te Kanis and my true love story. When we met Kani, when I met Kani, but I suppose it is we, because I was a mum on my own with two little kids. My youngest child at that time when I met Kani was Briar, and she was 6 months old, and her brother Lachlan was about 1.5 years old. Anyway, our love story goes back further than that. When I was a young girl in my early 20s, I lived in London, and I remember going to New Zealand House in Haymarket, and we used to collect our mail from there, and they also had a newspaper. The New Zealand News was published in New Zealand House, I believe. Anyway, first time I walked in there, I saw this most amazing, huge Maori carving. I just looked at it in awe, and I felt such a connection back home, and it actually reduced me to tears. I'll never forget it, actually, because it was such a significant feeling of loyalty and love for your country. And I never knew back then that this magnificent pohi, which is what it was called, was carved by my future husband's grandfather, who his name was Angela Te Kani, and he was a very well-known New Zealand opera singer as well, and he was living in London at that time, and he was asked to carve this most beautiful pohi. We call it po for short. Anyway, moving along. So I met Kani when my babies were very small, and I said to him when I met him, I fell in love with him instantly, and I said, one day I'm going to marry you, and sure enough, we did end up getting married. So I believe our story was set in concrete well before Kani and I were even born. It's interesting to see what the powers of being that are up there that have put us together. So when Kani and I were engaged, we were due to be getting married. I had a call from my dad's first cousin, a guy called Murray Gilbert, and he invited Kani and I over for lunch with he and his wife Jeanette. So Kani and I went over, and Murray said, "You're never going to believe this, but Kani's grandfather and your grandfather, Angela, sung together." And we were both flabbergasted, and they sung on this little 33 1/4 LP. It's called the Aaron Roaming Song, and it was done in, it was the 30th of something, I'm not too sure what date, but anyway, Enya passed away in June 1971, I think it was. And so Enya was doing a singing with some Commonwealth soldiers, and he could choose these soldiers to sing with, and it just so happened that he sung with my grandfather. We were given this little record, this little LP record for for a wedding present, and we played it at our wedding. I put it onto a CD, and so I'd love you to listen to this.
Carry me home on birds of the waters, carry me home on over the sea.
So then later on, Kani and I got married, and we had a most magnificent wedding. Our wedding was filmed by the New Zealand Weddings program called Weddings, and Kani sung to me, and his father played the guitar, and it was televised, and it was just such a beautiful, a wonderful day, and everybody had such a great time, I believe, and we certainly had a great time.
Relaxed note, Te Kani's practicing his wedding song while his dad's providing the backing.
And I wanna spend my life with you.
Well, this is the thing that he wanted to surprise his wife to be with.
It'll be
And all I could do was fall into line with what he wanted. If I could help him, fair enough. Yeah, that's you're happy with the length of that thing, eh?
Yeah, I think so.
That's working out to about a minute and a half.
Yeah, well, it's my wedding.
Speaking of which,
I'm so in love with you. Whatever you wanna do is alright with me. 'Cause you make me feel so brand new.
When I met Kani, it was definitely love at first sight. I thought I was onto a good thing, and I didn't want to ever lose him in my life. And there have been periods when we've been apart, and I've really pined for him. I've pined, and he's the love of my life. He's everything to me, and hopefully I'm the same to him.
I feel very complete with her. She rounds my life off quite nicely from that point of view, because if I'm away without her, I tend to think of her all the time. So from my point of view, I think it's probably the fact that she does make my life complete.
Let's stay together.
And then, so Kani's in the Navy, been in the Navy for a long time. He's on his, I think, his 45th year. And one year he was taking a contingent over. He was taking a Māori contingent over, the Kapahaka group, to Gallipoli. No, that was another time, sorry. He did take a contingent over to Gallipoli. But this particular time he was taking one over to Belgium, because it had been 100 years since World War One. And I got really excited because my late mother, she was a bit of a family historian, and she had my great-great-grandmother, a lady called Mary Ann Wick, she received the Queen Elizabeth of Belgium medal. However, and that was in December 1918. In January 1919, Mary Ann passed away, and the family never received this medal, or so we're led to believe. It was a long time ago. Anyway, my mother wrote to the Belgian government, and they said yes, she was definitely should have had this medal. We don't know what happened to it. So I said to Kani, wow, that's great. You can go over to Belgium. You can see what you can do and see if we can find this lost medal. Long story short, I got chatting to the person, a wonderful man called Freddie de Klerk, who grew up in the fields of Passchendaele, and he communicated with me, and we had a great conversation, and I had no idea that they had found the medal, and Kani was going to be awarded it at a ceremony in Belgium, which made the headline news or front page news in the Herald or in Belgium, and also made the news here. It was so exciting. It was the most amazing, incredible thing, and my late mother would have been very, very proud. The night before Kani was due to meet Freddie de Klerk with the contingent over in Belgium, I sent Freddie an email, and I said, hey Freddie, on the off chance, because he is a historian and is amazing with anything to do with any of the soldiers in World War One, because New Zealand and Belgium have a very, very special friendship regarding the war. And I said to Freddie, hey, is there any chance that you could find out anything about my grandfather? Now this is my dad's father, the one that sang with Enya, and Kani's great-grandfather. And Kani's great-grandfather was a guy called William Fryer, but the family affectionately refers to him as Billy Bob. So I sent Freddie this email, turned the computer off. I was due to go out, and I thought, oh, on the off chance, I'll just check the email before I go. Turned the computer back on, and there was a reply from Freddie. Freddie said in the email, "You're never going to believe this, Angela. Your grandfather and Billy Bob were in the same company, D Company, of a contingent of only 200 men. They would have known each other. They were both shot on the same day, both ended up in the same hospital, and they were both sharpshooters." And so I could not believe it. And next thing is Freddie's sending me all these, their records, like their tunnelling. They had tunnelling records and things like that, all in their handwriting. And so then we came back to New Zealand, and Kani came back to New Zealand and came back with the medal, which was amazing. Not long after that, we had another email from Freddie, and it said that the Belgian government wanted to do up all the headstones or the grave sites of all these women that were rewarded the Queen Elizabeth of Belgium medal. There was, I think, about 20-something women that were awarded this. Most of the women were nurses or in Parliament, things like that, and they fundraised. Well, my great-great-grandmother, Mary Ann, she had a market garden that she set up on her property with flowers and vegetables, and she sold all the flowers and vegetables. And the money that she'd made, she sent over to Belgium, and I think she was just under £2,000 back in World War One days, which is an awful lot of money. So that was another connection. So when we were at when they did up the Mary Ann's headstone, oh gosh, the cemetery, I've just lost my thought. Anyway, it was a cemetery over in Onehunga, and we had the ceremony for Mary Ann and the other lady that was her headstone that was done up in the same cemetery. And we were about to leave, and these three women came up to Kani and said, "Are you any relation to William Fryer?" And Kani said, "Well, yes, that's my great-grandfather." And they said, "Come with me." So they went around the corner, and unbelievably, William Fryer has a flagstaff. Used to be in the township of Onehunga, and but they had to move it. So this flagstaff is a memorial for Kani's great-grandfather. He was 24 when he was shot and killed, and this is the same one that would have known my grandfather on my dad's side. And he was a very, very accomplished sharpshooter at 24 when he was killed. And they had a memorial for him. They've got the Onehunga Museum has got a memorial there for him with some photos and whatnot. But this flagstaff is just round the corner, walking distance from Mary Ann's headstone and her mother Martha's headstone. So that's another connection that Kani and I have. Now, was there any more? There's the singing, there's that connection, there's I think that was it. If I remember another, because I thought there was another connection that we had. Anyway, I knew there was another connection between Te Kani and I. This gentleman right in front of you is, or was, a New Zealand well-known author. Now, his name was John Brodie, and his pen name, his writing name was Jack Guthrie, or John Guthrie. And he was my grandfather's first cousin. Now, he wrote a book called The Seekers, this one here, and he wrote some other books as well. But The Seekers was made into a movie that had Hayley Mills in it, and it was called In Search of the Castaways. That's it, actually, just on the TV there. I was just starting it. But Enya, Kani's grandfather, was the Māori chief in it with Hayley Mills, and it was made into a Disney movie, In Search of the Castaway. So that is another connection between Kani and I. So that's Enya, and Enya with Kani's grandmother. And this is the citation for the medal, the Queen Elizabeth of Belgium medal. That was awarded to my great-great-grandmother, Mary Ann. And so there are all these wonderful connections. And this actually is another oil painting of John's wife, Eleanor, down there. So I think I actually talked about John on one of my earlier episodes, a disability episode, I think it was. Anyway, because he lost his leg, he was going to be a well-known New Zealand rugby player, a well-known All Black. He was going to become, a All Black, but he lost his leg, and that put an end to his career, and that's when he became an author. So there you go, a little bit about Kani's and my love story. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube vlog this week. If you liked what you have been watching, please share and subscribe. Take care, everyone, and we look forward to catching up with you next week. Thanks a lot. See you later.